Looking to start your working holiday visa? Here are some things that I think you should know before starting that visa. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I post videos every Monday and Thursday. I post a lot of travel videos and also some fun challenges with my family from time to time. So today's video is pretty much things that you should know before starting your working holiday visa. This is a follow-up to my video of how to move to Australia and what the working holiday visas are. If you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna put it right up here for you so that way you can check it out and then come back and check this video out. But yeah, let's get started. So, when you first arrive in Australia, one of the first things you should do, at least what I did, is cell phone. How are you gonna contact people? How are you gonna find your way to the hotel or the hostel that you're staying at? So literally at the airport, they have cell phone stands. So what I actually did was I got a SIM card with Vodafone. I personally think that Vodafone was the best carrier over there besides Telstra. Telstra is the best if you're going to be in a lot of rural places, so like a lot of places that aren't big cities, because Telstra would definitely have internet at those places, whereas Vodafone will not. You will not get any service unless you're in a big city with Vodafone. After that, one of the things that you should do as soon as you have an address, so what I pretty much did was I stayed at a hostel. The one thing that you need in order to start working is your tax file number, so your TFN. Where you actually do that, I will put a link down below for you so you can go check that out. But you need your TFN in order to start working. You can find a job before you apply for your TFN, but then you have 30 days in order to give your job that TFN, or you're gonna be taxed at a higher bracket. And no one wants to get taxed more than what they should be getting taxed. So definitely get your TFN. Another thing that you should definitely have is your resume. There's a lot of English speakers at these hostels, so if you are watching this video and you are not a native English speaker, then definitely hook up with someone that's an English speaker and say, hey, can you help me with my resume? I don't think anyone is going to be like, oh no, I'm not gonna help you. Everyone's in the same boat and everyone's looking for a job. Another thing that you have to realize is that rent is paid weekly. So obviously if you're in a hostel for a while, you can pay every day, it doesn't really matter. But if you're looking for an apartment, you have to pay your rent weekly. So that's something you need to know and budget ahead of time. A lot of places will ask for 4 weeks rent. So that is your first 2 weeks of rent and your last 2 weeks of rent. So just be aware of that, so don't think that it's paid monthly or whatnot. It's definitely paid weekly, and so that's one thing to keep in mind. Obviously, in order to get paid, you need a bank account. So my recommendations for bank accounts would possibly be Commonwealth, NAB, or NAZ. I had Commonwealth. They're good. I don't think any of them have something different that the others don't, but just make sure you're not paying any fees on your bank account. So that was a big thing for me. I didn't want any monthly maintenance fees or anything, so just make sure you're not paying any of that. One thing that you will definitely need when you're opening that bank account is your passport, so make sure you have your passport on you. Jobs. So finding a job is honestly going to be the hardest thing that you can do in Australia. Why? Because there's so many backpackers. So many backpackers. But some jobs do have requirements before actually getting them, in which a lot of us did not know. So if you want to work in hospitality, you're gonna have to get your RSA. That is your responsible service of alcohol. You need this in order to be a server, bartender, whatever. And depending on the region you're in, it's depending on how much it is. You will need a different RSA depending on where you are. So I think New South Wales had a different RSA than Victoria. So if you get one for Victoria, it necessarily won't work for New South Wales. Queensland had an RSA, but I know Queensland, I think you could also use it in the Northern Territory and Western Australia. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. The RSAs also vary from prices. I know in Queensland, that's where I spent most of my time, everyone did their RSA for about $15. And that RSA can be done online, so you just literally type in RSA online and pretty much do it there. It's gonna take you a while. For mainly the simple fact is our retention is very low nowadays, and so we get distracted very easy. But it took some people a good 6 to 8 hours to do their RSA completely and fully through. Other places, those RSAs will be a little bit more expensive, so just keep an eye out for that. If you're looking into going into construction, you're going to need a white card. The price for a white card can be up to $150, so just keep in mind on that. So don't go and spend all your money and then like, oh no, I need to get a white card, because you're going to need $150 at max for that white card. Depending on the region that you are in, that training can be done online or in a classroom. Some of them you have to do in a classroom depending on the region, like I said, but yeah, that's also something to think about. As soon as you have your RSA or your white card or whatever, you're going to have to walk around. A lot of people were applying online for jobs, and that just doesn't really work. Mainly because there's so many backpackers and you have Aussies, so the Australians on those online websites applying for these jobs, and they obviously are going to hire an Australian over someone that can only do the job for 6 months. So you just have to be very proactive, walk around. Someone says no, they're not hiring, go back in like 2 days and like, hey, I was just seeing if a position opened up, because they want to see your persistence. Some of the jobs may not be hiring, others may be hiring, but they're just like, no, you're a backpacker, you don't really want the job, you're gonna be gone in like a month or so. But if you keep coming back, they're like, oh, this guy really needs a job and he's very persistent, let me give him a chance. So that's something that you can do. Another thing about work is understanding casual, part-time, and full-time. Obviously, full-time means you're working 40 hours a week, and those 40 hours are guaranteed. Part-time, you are working, I believe, up to 30 hours, and those hours are practically guaranteed as well. And then you have casual. So what casual is that every time you actually leave the building, you're terminating your contract with the job. So you're actually quitting your job in a sense. That's not necessarily saying that you won't have your job tomorrow, but if you aren't doing a good job at work, then they can easily say don't come back tomorrow and you don't have a job anymore because you don't have a contract with the job. What casual also means though is that you can work as much as you want and as little as you want. So if your job is like, oh, we have so many hours to give out, you can work over 40 hours. But if your job doesn't have those hours, then you are last priority and you will get less hours. But again, understanding what casual is different. What's also good about casual though is you get more money than people who are on part-time. So people who are on part-time, let's just say minimum wage, they might be making around 17 to 18 Australian dollars an hour. Because you are casual, you are required to get paid more. So you might get $20 an hour. Myself being casual, I was being paid almost $25 an hour. So that's something that you need to think about as well. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try and get to them. If there's a certain topic you guys want me to do a video on about this, I definitely will. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.